Good morning, guys. I hope all is well. I hope that everybody that's going through these ice storms and these crazy winter storms is safe. I want to talk about a subject this morning, and I feel like the Lord has been showing me and speaking to me in the last couple of weeks, and that's about money. I want to ask you a question. If the grid was to go down today, if the banks failed, how would you fare? If you can't get to that money, and we're depending on that money, can't get to it to buy stuff at Walmart or the little store down the street, or gas, or pay your bills, or what would you do? What would I do? I think it's a really good question to ask ourselves. I feel like the Lord is saying, spend your money now on the things that you need to survive. Don't wait. It's going to look a little different for every person. I felt like the Lord came to me and visited me in my sleep and spoke something into my sleep and ever since then I've been prepping more and more and more. There's some really good reasons to spend your money now on the stuff that you need. It could be a generator. It could be food stock. It could be ways of filtering water, ways of staying warm, secondary ways. If you spend that money now on the things that you need, you won't have to worry about trying to get that money out later on a later date that you may not be able to get it out. If the banks shut down, you're not going to get that money out, and it's going to become useless. For how long, I don't know. Nobody knows how long the grid could go down either. It could go down for long periods of time, or just short periods of time. But if you have extra money I'm not saying spend your money and go broke. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have extra money that you can spend on the things that you need, take care of yourself right now and get those things right now. Don't wait. Do not wait. Spend that money. That's why God gave us money. It was to spend it on ourselves and take care of ourselves, but also other people as well. I am not a survivalist expert. I don't claim to be any of those things. I have been working on my personal survival skills for a while now. I hope that I could survive. I hope. But I'm sure that I would struggle for sure. But I have been gearing up more and more in the last 5 years. There may be some of you that have a lot of wealth put back. And it's good to have wealth, and I realize that you've used your talent and your abilities to gain wealth. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing, that you have the ability and the gifts to make a lot of money. Some of you might say, well, it's my money, so I can do with it what I want. And that's true. You can do whatever you want. And some of you might say to yourselves, I did it all myself. I gained all this money myself. It was me that did it. I am the one who made the money. And nobody helped me. Well, that's actually debatable for sure, because we all need help making money, wealth. It's there's more to it than we should never claim that we did it all ourselves. And look what I have accomplished. Look what I have done. We need to be careful with that kind of talk. And I want to read a few scriptures that warn us of this kind of talk. And there could be some of you out there that have a lot of wealth put up, and maybe God has allowed you to have that wealth for a time like now. Maybe you could take that wealth and use your purchasing power right now to store up some stuff that will be beneficial for the needy in the future. You'll have much, much more than what you could ever use. You could actually help people with that wealth. And I believe that God would smile on that. And I believe that God gives us a wealth for a reason, not just ourselves. And I do believe that is biblical. And I don't want to get into a whole lot of Bible reading about wealth, But I feel like the Lord has given me a few scriptures that I do want to mention. And it's basically a warning for those who have wealth, are hoarding it up, refuse to use it for good. We have a right to do whatever we want with our wealth and everything that God gives us. That's our right. But I want to read a few scriptures, a few warnings about how we use our wealth. I want to bring our attention to Daniel 4:28 through 27. Now, I may not read all these scriptures, guys, but these are scriptures that we need to keep in mind when we start bragging on our own abilities and our wealth and our kingdoms, and we did this and we did that. In Daniel 4:28, I challenge you to go back in there and read it for yourself. But all these things did happen to King Nebuchadnezzar. 12 months later, he was taking a walk on the flat roof of the royal palace in Babylon. As he looked out across the city, he said, "Look at this great city of Babylon." Now, that could be any of us, guys. We could look at what we have and say, "Look what I've done. Look what I've accomplished." This applies to modern day people, modern day success. Actually, by my own mighty power, I have built this beautiful city as my royal residence to display my majestic splendor. While these words were still in his mouth, a voice called down from heaven, "O King Nebuchadnezzar, this message is for you. You are no longer ruler of this kingdom. You will be driven from human society. You will live in the fields with the wild animals, and you will eat grass like a cow. 7 periods of time will pass while you live this way, until you learn that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world and gives them to anyone he chooses." That same hour the judgment was fulfilled, and Nebuchadnezzar was driven from human society. He ate grass like a cow, and he was drenched with dew of heaven. He lived this way until his hair was as long as eagle's feathers, and his nails were like birds' claws. After this time had passed, Nebuchadnezzar looked up to heaven. My sanity returned, and I praised and worshipped the Most High and honored the one who lives forever. He is everlasting, and his kingdom is eternal. All the peoples of the earth are nothing compared to him. He does as he pleases among the angels of heaven and among the people of the earth. No one can stop him or say to him, "What do you mean by doing these things?" When my sanity returned to me, so did my honor and glory and kingdom. My advisors and nobles sought me out, and I was restored as head of my kingdom, with even greater honor than before. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and glorify and honor the King of heaven. All his acts are just and true, and he is able to humble the proud. We all should take note and be careful with what God has given us. He can take it away just as fast as he gave it to us, and he can humble us, and we can go through some things. I'm not saying that God's going to do that. Don't misunderstand me. We need to understand that good things, wealth, and all these things come from God. He gives us the power to do it. He gives us the talents. He gives us the ability. We may not understand that he's doing it. We might think that we're doing it. Nebuchadnezzar thought he was doing it. It was actually God that was giving it and granting him success and wealth. And he went through a lot. He went through 7 years of misery before he woke up. Let's hope we don't have to. I don't want to go through 7 years of misery, but I probably have gone through some misery because of my stupidity and wrong thinking in the past. Luke 16:19 through 31. Jesus said, "There was a certain rich man, who was splendidly clothed in purple and fine linen, and who lived each day in luxury. At his gate lay a poor man named Lazarus. As Lazarus lay there longing for scraps from the rich man's table, the dogs would come and lick his open sores. Finally, the poor man died and was carried by the angels to be with Abraham. Poor people go to heaven, guys. I'm not saying all poor people go to heaven, but this one did. The rich man also died and was buried, and his soul went to the place of the dead. There in torment he saw Abraham in the far distance with Lazarus at his side. The rich man shouted, "Father Abraham, have some pity. Send Lazarus over here to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue. I'm in anguish in these flames." But Abraham said to him, "Son, remember that during your lifetime you had everything you wanted, and Lazarus had nothing. So now he is here being comforted, and you are in anguish. And besides, there is a great chasm separating us. No one can come across over to you from here, and no one can cross over to us from there." Then the rich man said, "Please, Father Abraham, at least send him to my father's home. For I have 5 brothers, and I want him to warn them so they don't end up in this place of torment." But Abraham said, "Moses and the prophets have warned them. Your brothers can read what they wrote." The rich man replied, "No, Father Abraham, but if someone is sent to them from the dead, then they will repent of their sins and turn to God." But Abraham said, "If they won't listen to Moses and the prophets, they won't be persuaded even if someone rises from the dead." Guys, I realize this is pretty heavy, but we have the Word of God telling us and warning us that we need to take care of as many people as we can with the blessings that God has allowed us to have. So guys, I spend that money before it's too late. Use it for the glory of God. Take care of as many poor people as you can. And I pray that this message will touch your heart. And guys, this message is for me as much as anybody about money. So, by the way, I want to tell you about a few books on my bookstore, and recommend these and I haven't had anybody buying from my bookstore yet, but I want to recommend this one, The Book of Signs. This talks about Book of Revelation and talks about the apocalypse that's coming. It's a really good book, guys. So if you want to go to my bookstore, I recommend this one by Dr. David Jeremiah. It's a great book, guys. There's another one, Bushcraft 101, just bare bone basics. It'd be good to read this in case you get stuck somewhere. You only have a few things to work with. You can get a lot of this into your mind, and it'll come back to your memory and help you if you get stuck out there in the wilderness somewhere. And of course, this is one of my favorites, The Forager's Guide to Wild Foods. Guys, well, this book truly is amazing. It has pictures of plants, describes them, tells you what you can do with them in all North America. Great pictures. I recommend getting this hard book, because if you can't get it online, if you buy the ebook, you're done. I mean, I'm not a plant guy. Okay, I'm not. But look at these pictures. Yeah, so if you get stuck somewhere and you have this book, and you have to go into survival mode, this will help you to know what you can eat, what you can't. I wanted to really talk about this book a little more. So guys, anyway, please visit my bookstore. And this is a way to support my channel, and I really appreciate it. I haven't had much luck lately, and please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys got something out of this video. Have a good week.